थोड्या वेळानंतरच तुमच्या आत्मचरित्राचं प्रकाशन होणार आहे आणि साधारणपणे आत्मचरित्राबाबत असं बोललं जातं की आत्मचरित्रामध्ये पूर्ण सत्य कधी सांगितलं जात नाही, बऱ्याचदा हे होतं आणि याच्याशी काही वर्षांपूर्वी तुम्ही सहमत होतात. आता तुमची त्यावरची भूमिका बदलली आहे की आत्मचरित्र लिहिण्यामागची तुमची प्रेरणा नेमकी वेगळी आहे काय?
नाही, पूर्ण सत्य कुठल्या प्रकारचं सत्य? दिस इज द क्वेश्चन व्हेन यू आर क्वेश्चनिंग. What is hidden in most Indian autobiographies is sexual peccadilloes. You know, you all show that you were, you had no this and you had no girlfriends and you were this. This, I think, if you were writing Atmacharitra, the question is, was that woman relevant to you? Was she relevant to your development? Then you should write about it. If it's not, it doesn't matter. I mean, everyone can sleep with a woman. That's not the point. The point is, when you write about your affairs in autobiography, or about anything in your autobiography, you are writing because that was something significant in terms of my contribution. So there is a passage there where I have written on my girlfriends and how some of them helped and what kind of anguish. Not to glorify, we all have girlfriends or not have girlfriends, but how it affected my. It's when Atmacharitra, when it tries to be sambhavit and say that me asa, then it becomes sanctimonious. Then it becomes kashala, you can see through it right away.
पण आत्मचरित्र हा व्हॉट विन्स आत्मचरित्रात लिहिलेलं की आत्मचरित्राच्या अगोदर कधीतरी लिहिलं गेलेलं. म्हणजे फॉर दॅट मॅटर इन युअर केस देर हॅज बीन अ कॉन्टेस्ट ऑफ व्ह्यूज. के.जे. शहा आणि नाट्यशास्त्र कॉन्फरन्स वेर
no, but there you see, K.J. Shah was my guru and there's a whole chapter on him. But I say that such an intelligent man, in his tail end he became anti-Muslim, he became RSS, he became everything that I couldn't stand. So I thought I must note this down, that here was a man who formed me, who was my guru. I learnt about Indian philosophy from him. What was it that parted us? Miya Bazula Jaloti, he became very pro-RSS, pro-anti-Muslim. So I wrote about it in the Natya Shastra. He brought friends who knew nothing about Natya Shastra to the government conference. And he was always talking about corruption in government, corruption nahi kate, inviting at government expense friends to a seminar. So ultimately, I wrote the Atmacharitra because of what I said, which is that I felt at one point that I have lived in a very important era. Me 38 मध्ये माझा जन्म झाला, 47 मध्ये India became independent. We went through partition, we went through 50s and 60s, the great days of Indian cinema, both in commerce and came. Then 70s, the drama came, We had colleagues like Tendulkar and also Badal Sarkar. It was not thinkable earlier. It was the condition. And I said, we went through this condition which must be recorded. I must record how in Walchand Terrace I went to sleep drunken, arguing with Tendulkar and woke up next day to find Badal Sarkar there. Now, this doesn't always happen. It has happened in my era, and it happened because of people like Satyadev. So that's what I have recorded. It's I hope, a record of an age. And also it starts actually with the first sentence is my mother's name is. It starts with my mother, who was a child widow, a bal vidova. She got widowed at 16 and we didn't know. I didn't know. And at the age of 82, she wrote an order. Ata sangayla harkat nahi karna, it's going to be released. And we grew up and we knew she had a son. माझा थोरला भाऊ, सगळ्यात थोरला भाऊ, and we were brought up to told की आमचा सख्खा भाऊ आहे तो. We didn't know that he was my Savatra भाऊ, Savatra or half, whatever you call it, because he was by another father and so on. Because my mother had tried to become a nurse, and worked and so on. Ultimately she met my father, who was a doctor, and they married. ते लग्न सुद्धा तेव्हा 1930s मध्ये विधवा विवाह म्हणजे काय. So she wrote about it when she was 82, a small autobiography of 82 pages. Most of it is concerned about how for 5 years she lived with my father because my father would not marry a widow. She lived in his house, त्याच्याच घरी, माझ्या वडिलांच्या घरी with the son. And she would go and she would look for jobs and she came back. This we didn't know. We knew that we had a brother and so on. But she says, I don't know what, people don't know what I suffered during those 5 days, because I wanted to be with this man, he wanted to be with me, but he would not marry me because he was afraid. He samaj kai manel. You know. And I found this diary, she wrote it, I read it, I said, what is this important and so on. Then one day I wrote about it and people in Karnataka said, my God, you must write about it. No one's mother actually says that I lived with a man and no one's son would admit to it, you know. And then I thought here was a very genuine experience of a woman who had gone through that suffering in the 1920s, you know, who Vidavavati, and because, and this all happened in Pune and Belgaum and so on. It was not that my father was averse to second marriage. Second marriage, if it was an ordinary girl, he could have married 4 girls in those days. You know, no one would have. It was marrying a widow. That was so. That kind of, then my whole first chapter is about this, what my mother must have gone through, what my eldest brother must have gone through, because he was about 10 years old. He knew what was happening to his mother. He knew his mother was living with another man in Belgaum, and although he was staying somewhere, he must have heard all kinds of stuff. So Kai, what anguish did he go through? No, that is what my entire first chapter is about. And then when my father died, the question came up, I mean, this is the kind of, okay, who should do the Shraddha? You see, because my eldest brother had gone under the name of Karnad, which was my father's name. All my life we didn't know. But when, this is exactly like the thing that happened when Phule died. When Phule died, the question was, what was his caste? Here the same thing happened. My father died and then everyone said, no, you know, to the Thorla Babu, he can't do it. You do it, or you are my middle brother, because you were his sons. You know, Viryadam Tumsha Karta Dhalo, you know, he's a different. But I said, all his life he was a Karnad. And you know, at the end of death, to sort of turn him off saying he's not a brother, you can't do it. And त्याच्यावर पुष्कळ ताण झाला हे झालं ते सगळं मी लिहिलंय. Now these are very interesting things. These are not, you know, these are interesting because in a sense they reflect what was happening in the society.